Hey everyone, with holidays coming up, I wanted to share with you a recipe that my Nana taught me whenever I was 6, 7 years old, maybe 8. It's a very simple couple of ingredients pie that you can throw together like super quick, or you could do it the night before and let it set. Or another way you can do it is like make all the ingredients, let it set in a bowl overnight, and then pour it into your pie crust later. But I'm gonna show you how to make what we call growing up Nana's fruit cocktail pie. First thing you're gonna need to start is a graham cracker pie crust. You can either make your own or buy it. Since the only size they had was the really big one with the 2 extra servings, and because my kids are not going with me where I'm serving this tonight, I am going to double the recipe. So normally you would get 1 pie crust, an 8-ounce sour cream, 1 box of lemon pudding mix, and 1 can of fruit cocktail. The way we're gonna make it is with a 24-ounce sour cream, 2 boxes of instant lemon pudding mix, the instant is important here, and 2 cans of the Del Monte fruit cocktail. I am not a huge fan of cherry, so I don't buy the extra cherry. I have had it before with the extra cherry, and if you like cherry, go for it, but I'm not, so I do buy this one. First thing we're gonna do is add the 24 ounces of sour cream, the 2 boxes of lemon pudding mix. Again, the instant is very important. One time we could not find instant lemon and we tried the cook and serve. It does not turn out. You have to use instant. Mix the pudding and the sour cream together. If your sour cream seems to be clumping together and it's not very moist, don't panic yet, because the next step should fix this. Next thing we're going to do is we have the smaller of my 2 large Corelle serving bowls. Literally just putting a colander that barely fits over it to where it's not just sitting in the bottom, but it is there. And we're going to drain out the juice from our fruit cocktail. Drain all the juice out of it, kind of shake it around a little bit. And there's actually not a ton of juice in these, and I do try to emphasize, I forgot to emphasize this, normally I prefer to get the fruit cocktail, the light one, that is in juice. My store was out, so I ended up getting the one that was in heavy syrup. I actually do prefer for this recipe to have the one in juice. The flavor is much better. It's just, I don't know, I've tried it both ways. I prefer the flavor that way. But again, for some reason, like that was the weird thing that my store was out of this time, was normal size pie crusts and light fruit cocktail in the juice versus being in syrup. But now that that's had a second, we're gonna add it in here. And then we're gonna do the second can. From here, we are just going to gently stir all of this up, which is why you want to do the pudding first, because then you can be a little rough with it at first to try to mix all the powder in together. But now you need to be gentle not to crush all of your fruit. Here's what it looks like all mixed up. So let me talk about why we save the juice instead of just dumping it. Literally half the time, the canned fruit will be wet enough to where whenever you mix it in, it's not chunky, it's not thick, it's what a consistency of what a fruit pie you would want it to be. There's sometimes that it's not moist enough of a pie, and it just feels like dry, clumpy, and then you get a lot of the lemon mix not mixing through. And I will have to add, I literally will just dump what's left of the juice into the pie to mix it up. But I'm not going to for 2 reasons. One, I'm making it ahead, and we're not going to be needing it for 7 hours from right now, so I don't want my crust to get too soggy before we get there. Number 2, I just really don't think it needs it right now. So this time I'm not. But I mean, literally I could probably film this again at Thanksgiving, and I may have a different result and be like, hey, I'm going to add the juice back in because it needs it. So literally save it and just, from your own preference, see what you like. I've seen people, when I've told them how to make it, they'll just dump the whole thing in because they're like, I'll just dump it all in, I don't care. It turns out the way I want it to. So it's really up to you, but this is the way that we do it. And like I said, that was how my Nana taught me too, was sometimes she literally would not even had like all the juice back in. She'd add a little bit back in or none at all. So from here, we're going to scrape it out into our ready-made crust. I've made graham cracker crust before, but again, my other purpose of this pie is it is a super easy 5-minute make pie. And that's what I absolutely love about it. That and it, I don't know if it's just because my Nana was just such a strong influence on me of making it as a kid, but my kids really love it now, and it's just kind of become a family favorite and a family tradition for us to make it. My in-laws even will request it now. They'll be like, that pie that your Nana used to make. So I make it for them as well. And I know some people will be really hesitant if you say, oh yeah, one of the main ingredients is sour cream, but just give people a chance and tell people to give, just give it a try, give it a chance to try it out. So we're going to scrape it all into here, and right before serving, we will also top it with Cool Whip. Now, this is also a step you can leave out. I cook for kids. I have kids. Right now I have 3. I used to have 4. So I find that going ahead and topping a pie with Cool Whip whenever it's going to be served somewhere is so much easier than trying to let everybody just do their own Cool Whip as you go. So for this pie, we prefer to just top it with the Cool Whip and have it ready to serve. Here is what it looks like, well, most of it, into the larger pie crust. Here's why I'm glad I doubled it. But I did have this much left over. I probably could have put it in here, but I don't like overfilling it, even though I probably could because it's not like super runny or anything. But the reason I don't is so I can still put that nice Cool Whip layer on later. The other thing I can do is I can also take the extra Cool Whip and throw what's left of that together and do like a kind of fruit salad-ish thing for the girls. So that works out really well for us. So again, like you could also, like I just found out that this actually has gluten in it, and one of my friends is gluten intolerant, and I have a slight aversion to it, but not major. So I may do that next time. I may look at making, like, tripling the recipe and having some set aside in the bowl that I can serve on the side, and maybe find like some gluten-free crackers or something that we can do with it, and then also have the pie with it. For now, this is going to go to the fridge, and then in about 4 or 5 hours before we're going to need to serve it, I will top it with the Cool Whip.